If you're someone that experiences a lot of anger in your life, have a look at the expectations that you are creating. A lot of times when we create expectations, we then suffer from anger because we create this expectation of how life should be. We've created this projection of how our life should be, how other people should be, how things should go. We're holding on to a plan, our expectations. The plan is always about the future. And when reality shows up looking different than how we imagined life to be, well, then we get angry. When life is not going according to my plan, then I'm going to get angry. When people are not behaving like I expected them to behave, I'm going to get angry. When my life looks different than how I expected it to look, I'm going to get angry. So have a look at your expectations. It requires you to become aware of the expectations that you're creating moment to moment. And let go of these expectations. And what you'll notice is by simply being aware of these expectations, when you start experiencing that anger, you'll start seeing how these expectations are the cause of this anger. In practice, it will look like your kids making a mess in your house and then you getting angry at them. Or someone behaving a certain way at work and you getting angry at them. Or you getting stuck in traffic and then you getting angry at the traffic. And as you're experiencing that anger, just observe that anger as it's arising. Just be with that anger. Don't try and suppress it. Just simply be aware of that anger that's arising within you. Notice how it's not always there. No emotion is being experienced all the time. So notice how it wasn't there, but now it's here. Notice how this anger simply arose. Then don't try and push it down. Just simply be with it. And it's this awareness that allows you, in a sense, to take a step back from being identified with the anger. I am angry. That's identification with the emotion. And instead, you've taken a step back and now there's an experience of anger. I am experiencing anger. There's a shift from I am angry to I am experiencing anger. And what you'll notice is after, just being aware of this anger, this awareness is still present. And what you can do is inquire, what is it that created this emotion to arise? And then, like I said, I'm pointing at these expectations. And a lot of the times they're just so deeply ingrained that we cannot even see them as expectations. That we just have this expectation that everything should just go according to plan. Everything should just run smoothly. Now, of course, if you believe that everything should just run smoothly in your day, well, as soon as something is not running smoothly, well, you guessed it, you're going to get angry. So it's having a look at these expectations that you could say you've gotten so used to. And then you can start seeing that, oh yeah, I've got this expectation that my kids should behave a certain way. And then when they're not behaving that way, how I want them to behave. When they're not behaving according to my expectation, then I get angry. And then you see, well, you don't drop your kids. It's your expectation that needs to be dropped. And you notice that when you drop these expectations, well, the anger doesn't show up as frequently. That you're creating this anger with your expectation. Because you create this expectation, well, then you have this attachment to a certain outcome. And when the outcome that you have expected is not so, or is not fulfilled, well, then it's this anger that shows up. And this is a form of suffering. And in terms of the spiritual journey, you could say it's still this immaturity, like a child who doesn't get its way. The child wants certain things to go his or her way. There's this expectation. Mommy says, okay, let's go to the grocery store. Little girl says in her head, I want to get bubble gum. And at the grocery store, when the little girl doesn't get the bubble gum, she gets angry. Something as little as that. So then there's a little tantrum that happens at the grocery store. That's no different than adults. But it's this expectation that sets it off. So it's about having this awareness to simply look at this mechanism, to look within at these expectations that are there. You're just not looking at them. But if you really want to stop being angry, it requires you to look at them. And you could say that it's only when someone has had enough of being angry, where this anger has been so destructive to their own well-being and to the well-being of others, that then they actually want to change. And this is when the suffering becomes a catalyst to this higher awareness. And then this awareness can start seeing the cause of this form of suffering. And like I say in a lot of these videos, is this suffering shows up in many different flavors. That at first glance you wouldn't say that anger. Everyone's angry. I'm not suffering. It's just some anger. But that's the thing, is if we're not accepting that we are angry, if we're still in denial, if we can't see how destructive it is to our well-being and to those around us, then it's because of this lack of awareness that we really don't want to see. We don't want to see our own suffering. We don't really want to investigate the cause of it. It's this immaturity. We really don't want the responsibility the ability to respond, because anger is just a reaction. We're reacting instead of responding. Someone cuts you off in traffic, or just cuts you off on the road, or you experience traffic. What benefit is there by getting all angry that you're stuck in traffic? Is there any sort of benefit? List one positive benefit that comes from being angry when you're stuck in traffic. Zero. But it's completely destroying your peace, your well-being, and just some event like that tends to ruin someone's entire day. Which is, like I said, it's the suffering that just creates this chain of events. They'll suffer when they hit traffic, they'll suffer in the traffic, they'll suffer still when they're at home eating dinner, still talking about how bad the traffic was, how much time they wasted in the traffic, how things should have been better, should have been different, could have been different. But what's needed? Let go of the expectations and this acceptance. And without that, without this acceptance for life as it is, then you're always going to allow your experience to disturb your peace. You'll always allow your experience to steal your happiness. So like I said, it's about looking at the cause of these emotions that aren't really serving you. That if you're starting to get sick and tired of being stuck in some of these emotions, or drowning in these emotions, or being weighed down by some of these heavy emotions, then this video is a good start, because it requires more and more awareness to start seeing the cause of these emotions that are within you. So hopefully this helps. I'll see you in the next one.